no place like the Cube.
Coming across your airwaves, dance with me. It's an intersectional day, and it's gonna bring you the weekly.
Family, is the news overwhelming? Is it just too much? Well, I get you, and I got you.
Yeah.
Family, welcome to Season 5 of the Queer News Podcast. This is your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod, where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment. This is your number one stop for queer news done right, only on E3 Radio.
We wear purple because the intersection of race, class, gender, and sexuality is the street we live on, and we can't move, even if we wanted to. We have to act against what is considered normal. All of y'all can go out and get married now, but I can't even vote because my ID does not match up to the person standing in the ballot box. All of y'all can go out and get married now, but I still have to suffer a urinary tract infection because I can't go to the bathroom in some public spaces. All of y'all can go and get married now, and I'm not mad. In fact, I'm happy because it means that we have moved a little closer to a more just, more righteous society, but we still have a long way to go.
And we've got a long way to go, is right, okay? And that was the voice of Andrea Jenkins, the first out Black trans person ever elected to political office in the United States. And when I heard the news that she decided to retire, I knew we had to open our 2026 podcast with her voice, with her words, and we will honor her later in the show. QCrew, what's going on? Thank you for your continued commitment to helping me sustain this podcast. Family, it's 2026. It's wild out here in these Trump streets, okay? And so we need all the support we can get. I would love your commitment to helping us sustain this podcast. It starts as low as $5 a month, and I promise you, every dollar counts around here. Your money helps to cover the cost of our editor, Ryan, who I would not want to do this podcast without. And so, if you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, join the Q Crew. A link is in our show notes. And family, don't forget, if you've got a local news story not getting enough amplification, a queer org other folks should know about. If you're an artist, got a song coming out, send in a queer news tip. I love hearing about all of them, so keep them coming. That is also in our show notes. Now for the news. In top news, we honor the legacy of Andrea Jenkins. In politics, we talk about the incident that took place in Minneapolis, where Renee Good was murdered. We will also get into the trans sports case that will begin tomorrow with the Supreme Court. In culture and entertainment, we got to talk about Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang, because they've been getting all the smoke, and it is for good reason, okay? And we're also going to talk about one of our favorite gospel music legends and reformed homosexuals, okay? Donnie McClurkin, who got hit with an SA lawsuit last week. Let's get into it all. Family. All too often, we don't get to give our she-ros and our heroes a proper farewell. So when we are given the opportunity, we must seize the moment. And so with that, let us honor Andrea Jenkins, the first out Black trans elected official in the United States who has decided to retire. Honestly, there are so many important words in what I just said in that phrase. But honestly, the most important piece is decided to retire. Because she's not leaving due to a scandal. She's not being forced out. She didn't lose an election. She has decided to retire. Now, if you don't know Andrea Jenkins, let me help you out real quick, okay? In 2017, Andrea made history as the first out Black trans person elected to public office in the United States. representing Ward 8 on the Minneapolis City Council. Now, she didn't just sit in the room, she led the room, eventually serving as both vice president and president of that council. She served as vice president from 2018 to 2021 and as city council president from 2022 to 2023. And let us be very clear, Ward 8 isn't just any ward. She represented the neighborhood where George Floyd was murdered in 2020. So if you are putting it all together, she led the city through an uprising, through a pandemic, and using her word through a tumultuous time. And let me not leave out the fact that when she was elected in 2017, she was diagnosed with MS, or multiple sclerosis. And even in the face of that news, she wasn't deterred from taking her place in public office. But over the last 9 years, it can't be denied that while she was fighting for her constituents' mobility and their rights, she was privately navigating a decline of her own. She's been very open about it, saying, quote, "There has been a visible decline in my mobility and my physical way of navigating the world." So in this moment, she has decided to turn back to herself, the self that is a poet, the self that is a writer. Because before she became a councilwoman, she was a curator of the Transgender Oral History Project. She says, "First and foremost, I identify as a poet and a writer, and being in this job didn't really allow me to focus as much time and energy as I wanted to on my creative life. And so I wanted to get back to that while I still had some mental acuity and passion and abilities." And let us not leave out that she is a grandmother of 3 as well. She's choosing her joy, she's choosing to look after her ailing mother and travel with her grandkids while she has the mobility and the passion to do it. Andrea Jenkins is a trailblazer, an icon, someone everyone should know. Her legacy is supplanted, and you don't have to look far to find it. Just look at State Rep Lee Finke, the first out-trans lawmaker in Minnesota legislature. Lee says about Andrea, quote, "Her steadfastness and clarity has been really inspirational to me. I continue to see her as a person whose strength and commitment is a guide path for me." Lee also goes on to talk about how when she was considering running for office, Andrea was one of the first people she reached out to because she had experience of being a public servant and being out in trans. Family, Andrea didn't just break down or crush another glass ceiling. She stood there and held it open for the rest of us. So thank you, Andrea, for your service. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for being willing to be a possibility model for the rest of us. Thank you. On Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles, they had guns. Those are the words of Becca Good, Renee Nicole Macklin Good's wife, in a recently released statement. So in politics, today we're going to stay in Minneapolis for a little bit, where I'm sure anyone listening to this podcast is aware of the killing of Renee by ICE officer Jonathan Ross. If you've decided not to watch the video, good for you, okay? Which I totally overstand. It depicts Renee in the driver's seat while ICE agents are around her vehicle. One ICE agent is pulling at her door handle as she goes to pull off, and the ICE agent standing toward the front of her car pulls out his gun and shoots multiple times while trying to get out the way. Now, I'll also add, he was doing this while filming everything on his phone. This incident that took place near 34th Street and Portland Avenue is less than 1 mile away from where George Floyd was murdered in 2020. Less than 1 mile. So you can imagine the community in this neighborhood is really tight-knit. This was part of the reason Renee and Becca decided to plant roots there recently. Trump and his administration immediately released a statement calling her a domestic terrorist, looking to run over officers. They have characterized her as a violent rioter who weaponized her vehicle. These claims were quickly disputed by not only eyewitnesses on the scene, but also the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Ray, and Governor Tim Walz. Governor Tim Walz also hoped it would be a joint investigation, but the FBI has taken it over. Her wife, Becca, also said in her statement, she literally sparkled. I mean, she didn't wear glitter, but I swear she had sparkles coming out of her pores all the time. She went on to say, Renee was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. The family posted a GoFundMe with a goal of $50,000 to help pay for the funeral and living costs. Well, in just a few short days, this GoFundMe amassed over $1.5 million. And I have never seen this before, but they have paused the donations, paused them, and made a statement that they will be putting the funds in a trust and encouraged folks to give to others who are in need. Family, I share GoFundMes all the time on this podcast because when something tragic happens, oftentimes folks don't have the funds. Sometimes folks don't have life insurance to pay for a funeral, to pay for the living expenses, etc., that are to come. And so I share the GoFundMe because I feel like y'all want to take an action. Y'all want to be of service. Y'all want to help, right? If you're listening to this podcast, I feel like you're my people. And so I share the GoFundMe with you. And I've shared a lot of them. And I've never seen one paused because they have reached a certain dollar amount. I think this says a lot about who these folks are. Now, overall, family, we know ICE is terrorizing the country right now with the backing of the federal government. This is, in my opinion, federally sanctioned violence in the name of removing undocumented folks from the United States. He ran on this and he's executing it, just like he said he would. And this is why I will never forgive anyone who voted for this mess. And when it comes to this incident, how endangered do you feel when you are standing in the street in front of a vehicle with a phone in one hand and a gun in the other? After you have already been involved in an incident when you got dragged by a car. You can't make that make sense to me. Jonathan Ross. Family, if you don't know, let me tell you, the United States is the great big experiment of the world. It's the greatest, biggest experiment. Can people from all these different cultures actually reside in one place? We were taught that colonizers were to be celebrated, those who committed mass genocide, which then built this country on the back of enslaved people and free labor. And so when you consider the foundation in which this country was built, I ask myself, should I expect anything more? White fragility and greed built this mess. And this was not the first time ICE has murdered someone, but I do think it's getting much more attention because it was not only filmed, but a white woman was killed. And when the state decides to begin killing white women, I'm telling you this with my whole chest, none of us are safe. Now for our last political story of the day. Tomorrow, January 13th, is a big day. The Supreme Court will hear the case of Hecox versus Idaho and BPJ versus West Virginia. One case is fighting Idaho law and the other West Virginia law, which bans trans women and girls from competing in women's sports. Both of these cases are facing appeals, which have led us to the Supreme Court to make the ultimate decision. To date, lower courts have granted injunctions to allow trans women and girls to play in these states, but these states don't like that, okay? These states voted for Trump, okay? And they are appealing these decisions. We know the makeup of this court. It leans conservative, 6-3, no doubt about that, okay? They have allowed the Trump administration to enforce a ban on transgender service members in the military. They have let state laws that ban transgender care for minors be enforced. They've allowed this administration to require U.S. passports to include a traveler's sex at birth rather than the person's gender identity. They've done all of that. Now, they did throw out Kim Davis's case, which we celebrated on this podcast, which was challenging marriage equality. But Chile, this case is a world of different. The chances of getting victory here are very slim. That's just the truth. But Becky Pepper Jackson, the main person at the center of this case, said this to CNN. Someone has to do this because this is just a terrible thing. I know that I can handle it, and it's never crossed my mind to stop. Becky is 15 and loves track and field, especially shot put. It's her favorite event, and all she wants to do is play with her friends. In Becky's case, she began transitioning socially in the 3rd grade, and she began taking HRT, or hormone replacement therapy, by 6th grade. Her attorneys are arguing, quote, that she has never experienced the effects of testosterone on her body and doesn't have the inherent biological advantages. And honestly, family, this is what the science tells us, period. This is a fact. Once you have been on HRT for a certain amount of time, your body is not the same. Your hormones are not the same. How your body made up is not the same. It's just not. But we are in a culture war right now, not one about science or facts. Chase Strangio, the first trans person to argue in front of the Supreme Court and currently Deputy Director of Transgender Justice at the ACLU's LGBTQ and HIV Project, posted this on Instagram. The trans sports cases are not about sports or about trans people. They are about whether we allow the forward march of a political project that seeks to return us to a pre-Reconstruction era. They are about whether the government gets to impose its preference on how we inhabit our bodies or whether we retain that freedom. When you are duped into conversations about competitive advantage, this is the picture you are missing, and these are the conditions you are ushering in. That's a word, okay? I'm going to be following this case really closely because I think this is the most culturally divisive issue of our time. And I say that because I know there's people who are listening to this podcast who identify as queer, who don't know how to feel about this issue. And I want you all to know that the science, that the facts are, there is no advantage when you've been on HRT for X amount of time. There just isn't. But the propaganda machine is strong. And when 75% of folks say they don't know a trans person, it's so easy to demonize those you do not know and you do not understand. So we are in a culture war around this issue, and I'm here to fight it. I'm here to fight it with all of us. So make sure you're following E3 Radio on YouTube, okay, to stay informed, because I want to do some longer form conversations around this issue. Now, this has been a long first half, family. We back, okay? And it feels like we are overdue for a break. So let's take our break, pay some bills, hopefully, okay, eventually, buy an ad if you want to, okay? And then when we get back, let's get into culture and entertainment. If you're listening to this, it means we didn't sell this ad space. If you're listening to this, it means running ads on our podcast can actually work. You see what I did there? Do you need some promo? A little amplification? Hit us up at info@e3radio.fm. That's info@e3radio.fm. We have a platform. You should use it.
The Queer Family Podcast.
Hey there, listeners. Do you like to hear real and honest stories? And do you also believe in inclusion and diversity? If so, I have the podcast for you. My name is Jamie, and I'm the host of the Queer Family Podcast, the show all about family, but with gay. I go in depth with weekly guests about how they built their beautiful queer families and how we all show up in a world that wasn't necessarily designed for families that look like ours. The mission is to uplift, highlight, normalize, and celebrate LGBTQIA+ families in all of our beautiful identities, and we do just that week after week. Tune in every Monday to new episodes. Find us wherever you find your pods. Happy listening.
Love is love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Did you know we had a newsletter? Yes, the Queer News Podcast has a weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday. There's a special newsletter for the QCrew, but there's a free newsletter for absolutely everybody. So if you want to stay in the know about what I got going on, what I got to say unfiltered, and just a list of all the stories covered every single week with time codes, yo, you gotta subscribe to the newsletter. A link to subscribe is in the show notes. Family, welcome back. Now let's get into some culture and entertainment. First up, the award-winning podcast, Las Culturistas. Do y'all listen to this show? I have never listened to this show. It's never been something I felt connected to, you know? But it has been getting some smoke after saying this.
Anytime a politician is making it too obviously about themselves, I'm already done.
We're out.
Don't waste your money sending to Jasmine Crockett. Do not do it.
I must agree.
Don't do it. You're going to waste your money. Take it from someone who sent Sarah Gideon like a ton of money in Maine. Like, just don't do it. Don't waste your money. Don't do it.
It's hard enough to come by.
Yes. Let me just qualify the Jasmine Crockett thing. She's not going to win a Senate seat in Texas, you guys. Like, if Beto O'Rourke couldn't do it, like, Jasmine Crockett is not going to do it. She is and it's nothing against her. It's just that she is a politician and that she is like, you know, like, very well defined already. And I think it's my opinion that we are going to need someone who is less defined at this moment that then rises up. Like, I'm interested in this Tallarico guy from Texas.
Oh, I don't know him.
I'm just interested in him. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I haven't seen him before. It would be hard for them to define him as anything other than what he is, which is like a rising Democratic politician from someplace like Texas, who is like, yes, speaking a little bit to the middle, but at least he's someone that like we can't define already. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, yes.
Yeah, Matt Rogers said, don't give your money to Jasmine Crockett. The woman who has been standing up to Trump and his cronies since the very beginning. The woman who has gone viral standing up to Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's who we shouldn't be supporting? Really? Then Bowen Yang agrees. Let's just say they have been getting all the smoke, and I do believe it is justified. Matt Rogers, though, took to his story yesterday, and he said this. Hey, everybody. I hear the response, and I'm taking every bit of it to heart, I promise. Transparency and candor matter to me, especially on the podcast. I'm a very progressive person who cares deeply about winning these elections, but my phrasing was not right. I will be more thoughtful. I really do promise. I have great respect and admiration for Rep. Crockett, and I regret that my words suggested otherwise. I just want us to win, and I'll be better at finding ways to help. I think that was a solid apology. Now, it was in his story. Honestly, I don't even know if it's on his actual timeline. But then Bowen reposted it and added this to the statement. Should not have curiously weighed in on this, understanding the platform, and we will use it more responsibly. So here's hoping y'all do that. I mean, they reach tens of thousands of people every week. I'd probably guess they're up to upwards of 100,000 listeners, probably every episode at the very least. They both have huge platforms. They've won all the podcasting awards, okay? And honestly, if the video wasn't dropped, right? If it was just audio and they were just talking to the people that listen to that podcast, I doubt it would have garnered this much attention. Because the people who listen to that podcast might actually feel the exact same way. But Chile, once that voice, okay, that video hits the internet and other people get to chime in that don't listen to that podcast, child, all bets are off. And they found out real quick, okay? Now for our last story today. In culture, one of our favorite recovering homosexuals, okay, Donnie McClurkin, has found himself in some trouble. The headline reads, Grammy-winning gospel singer and pastor accused of sexually abusing a young man. Donnie McClurkin denied the allegations in the lawsuit, which was filed by a man who says he sought out the pastor after reading his book about overcoming the curse of homosexuality. The curse of homosexuality. Now, if you aren't familiar with Donnie McClurkin, I get it. The name might not be familiar, but his songs that he's recorded, okay? Like Stand and We Fall Down are cultural moments in time. Those songs will last long past any of us walking this earth, okay? They are iconic gospel hits. He sung on the largest stages, won all the gospel awards possible, and Grammys included. He pastors at Perfecting Faith Church in Freeport, New York. And he wrote a book called Eternal Victim, Eternal Victor, where he openly shares about being raped as a child by a man which he believes led him to homosexuality. But he does not believe that is of God, okay? So he claims that choice and prayer have freed him of those desires. Okay, so if you like me and you don't know what you're doing right now, you washing some dishes, you riding your bike, you're driving to work, then you probably giving him the side eye, like I've been giving him the side eye for the last 20 years. Okay, now his former assistant, Giuseppe Corletto, has filed a lawsuit against him claiming Donnie McClurkin sexually abused him for many years. Now, we know what it means to be a personal assistant. That means they were in pretty close proximity a whole lot of times, okay? This is events, this is traveling together, etc. Now, he looked up to Donnie McClurkin because, the curse of homosexuality. He wanted to be released from that curse as well. So he sought out Donnie McClurkin for help. Giuseppe says that it began at these Pray the Gay Away spiritual sessions. Pray the gay away. Let me just say this. Once again, with my whole chest, you can't pray the gay away. I mean, this is the point. You cannot pray the gay away. You can't pray away something that was God-given. You just can't. God gave it to you, and guess what? God ain't gonna take it away. And it ain't no curse. It's not a curse. Honestly, it's been one of the biggest blessings of my life. But I digress, and let me get back to the lawsuit. The lawsuit describes the incidents, which I am not going to get into, and includes emails Giuseppe claims Donnie McClurkin sent him. One says, quote, "I am the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man, pawning and groping a young man who is just looking for a friendship and close platonic relationship with someone he wants, looks for help, guidance, and spirituality. I feel so foul, so stupid." This is an email that Giuseppe claims Donnie McClurkin sent to him. Giuseppe says that he tried to quit being his personal assistant on multiple occasions, but that Donnie would manipulate him into staying, claims he would use scripture against him, and that he felt like he was brainwashed and that his deliverance was wrapped up in Donnie McClurkin. Now, of course, like I said earlier, Donnie McClurkin is denying any of this ever happened. So we will see what happens with this lawsuit. But here's the thing, family. We cannot pray the gay away. This is what we call conversion therapy. And conversion therapy is on the docket for the Supreme Court as well this year. Another case we're going to be following on our YouTube channel. So please go and subscribe to E3 Radio to make sure you don't miss a thing. Family, you know what time it is. It's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. And I would not be a true Chicagoan, okay? A proud Chicagoan, if I did not evoke the spirit of the Chicago Bears beating the Green Bay Packers into this episode. The first episode of 2026, and I get to talk about how the Bears beat the Packers on a cold, snowy night in Chicago, coming down from 18 points to score 25 points in the fourth quarter, to have 4% probability of ever winning that game with less than 5 minutes to play, to become victorious? What? I still can't believe it. I thought my heart was gonna leave my chest. But this is the word that I have for you today as we get ready and get into this 2026. What God has for you is for you. What God has for me is for me. This is why I don't breathe this air of competition that capitalism taught me. This is why I don't feed into it. You can't take anything from me that I wasn't meant to have. I really want y'all to believe that. Because what is for you is for you. Nobody thought the Bears was winning that game. Let me tell you, it was rough. It was ugly. That first half was something out of the movies bad. They looked good on that first drive, and that was about it. But they came out there that second half, a totally different team. Completely different. And they took that win. Now, I've seen what the Green Bay Packers had to say, that they lost it. Okay, that can be their narrative. I'm from Chicago, child. We took it. We came out there and took it back. So family, as you go embarking upon whatever you do in life, whatever you passionate about in life, whatever you want to accomplish, just know ain't nothing gonna miss you that is for you. Now, y'all come back next week, okay? And y'all tell some friends to come with you, because this is the Queer News Podcast, only on E3 Radio. Peace. If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna DeShawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall. And brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.